Okay, so next piece on doing this, you see all of these white guys, the dotted line here, that's to level the track. Part of the reason I have to do that is the way this whole base was constructed is I constructed this piece down to about here out of a solid piece of foam, and then I added another piece of foam in here, and this one is drooping a little bit, and I don't know at this point whether I can get it up or not, but anyway, because it's drooping a little bit, it throws the track off. So now it's time to put the Woodland Scenics foam, this here stuff, on there. Okay, you can see I've started to glue the foam down around here, it's pinned in place. The way I do it is I take, in this case I've got the strips from Woodland Scenics, so I probably cut it, especially if you're going around corners, I end up cutting it so that it'll bend around corners. Put glue on the bottom. I'm just about out on this one, so. So this is just, okay, once I got glue covering it, we'll see if that's, I've got this, which is a serrated spatula that I got from it's from knife painting. It's a Liquitex Freestyle. Anyway, I smooth this out, make sure the end's covered good, and then when I do this, I try and keep it relatively thin. I'm going to have to go and get some more glue. I'll get another container because that one's pretty much dead. And I'm using Woodland Scenics foam tack glue. So get a little bit more of that out. That should be good. I need some up here. Okay, so use this again to spread it out. Make sure it's well coated. And then, because it's serrated, it really seems to work well to spread it, kind of like laying tile. And by keeping it thin like this, what happens is it sticks really well. So, the other way around. So, this goes in here. And it sticks. Now, I'm going to put a couple of pins in because I want to hold the corner part of it here. And then, just going to walk my fingers along it. And this happens to be right at the very edge, so. And it has to come out a little bit to go around there. And then it goes back around again. Okay, now, make sure that's well stuck down. But you can see it's holding quite well, the foam tack glue. I want that to be, yeah, it's got to be right up there, so put a pin in there. And I mean, if I try and move it now, I can, but not easily. So I'll just put a couple of pins in to make sure it's held okay. And then I'll lay the next section down around the corner there. Okay, so next up is I need to put ties on these tracks. And the ties I have look like this. They come in a box of plain. I stain them so that when I'm ready to use them, they look like this. Now the ties are not square, they're rectangular. You won't be able to see it, but it's a little broader this way than it is that way. So they all have to be aligned properly. In order to do that, I have this jig, and it's set with black marks for where the PCB ties go. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots in between. So the process is you grab each one of these, you turn them to make sure they're the right direction, and then you insert them in. And I just randomly pick them, so color-wise they could be whatever they turn out to be. Sometimes I have to look extra careful to make sure that they're turned properly, because if they get on edge, then things start to screw up a bit. So this one turned while I was doing stuff. So what you end up with is there's 5 of them in there now. I'm going to take a strip of 1/8 inch masking tape all along here so that I can invert it, so I can apply glue to here and contact cement to there as well. I use this product that Fast Tracks distributes. It's Plyo-Bond. It's a contact adhesive, and I do one of these strips at a time. Each of these takes 13, and if I look, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 26, so I'll need to build 2 of these strips, which will take me a little bit of time, so I'm off to do that now. Now the other thing, before I can glue anything to this track, I need to clean it. If you've been watching so far, you'll know that it's already been cleaned twice. It was cleaned at the very start before I soldered it, then it was cleaned again after I did all my soldering, and now I'm just going to take some, what I have is track cleaning alcohol 99%, a Q-tip, and rub it along. So I'm just going to rub it in, and I'm going to let it dry as I'm putting all of the ties together to get ready to go into here. What I'm working on underneath here is a piece of plate glass, so you can see it's however thick that is. I happen to have some turnouts already on the bottom of it that I can use for doing some ties and stuff on turnouts, but it's a nice flat surface. And when I'm gluing, I use it as well, because any glue that spills on it, it's not going to matter. It's really easy to scrape off. I just use an old razor blade and scrape everything off. So just continue doing this. Make sure all is okay. So, as I mentioned, I've got to load up the template. So this is what it looks like when I'm loading it up. You won't have the best picture from there because I got a hand in the way, I know. Okay, as I'm doing this, I can feel whether the ties are in properly or not. And sometimes they stick to my finger that I'm trying to hold it in with, and I have to turn around and use a pair of tweezers or whatever in order to fix that. So if I videotape this whole thing, I have the one straight to do, and I have another curve to do that's over 3 feet long. It'll take a few hours to do all these, so we're not going to record it all. So this is now filled with all the ties, and I've got what did it start out as? 1 inch thick masking tape over here, that I've cut into 1/8 inch strips. But this here is a little bit concave. If you look at it the side, you'll see it goes this way. And if I do that, what'll end up happening when I go to try and put it on the track here is I'll start out fine, and then it'll be out a little bit, and by the time I get to the end, I'll have trouble fitting it. So what I do is I grab a nice weight here, I stick that on there, and I stick that on the other edge, so that's now laying flat. And then I go over here and grab my 1/8 inch piece of masking tape that's 10 inches long approximately. So you see the masking tape there, and 10 inches is just barely long enough. So I gently tap it down like that throughout the distance. I have to remember next time to make it a little bit longer. And then I use this ruler and I just smooth it out like that. And that's just to make sure the tape will stick well. And then I grab the tape and I pull it out, and you can see that it's in groups of 5. And then I lay it over to the side here and do the next batch. Okay, so what I'm doing here is applying contact cement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 done. So squeeze it out of its little tube. Just apply it to the rail. Remember, we cleaned the rails. If you get a little dribbling down, that's okay. You can cut it off later, or depending how it's there, you may be able to just cut it off's the best. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2 more to go. Okay, now once this is all done, take a look, make sure, yeah, I got it everywhere I need to. Now the next thing I need to do is these guys, because it's a contact cement, it needs to be on both surfaces. So I'm just going to take this, I'm taping it to the glass plate. I'll turn this around like this, move the track out of the way so I don't corp it. And I've got rails and underneath so I can see where to drop this. And I see this is kind of out. So now I'm at this point, a little bit of tension on it, and it drops contact cement just a little bit in from the outside. Okay, I just finished applying glue to it all. Now we wait for just a couple of minutes because we want the solvent that's in here to evaporate, just leaving the glue. So we just want to get to a point where it's tacky, but basically dry.